Did it surprise you, not so much that Ohio State won, but how convincing it was, Todd?
That did surprise me. I did think Ohio State would win. I thought they were the more complete team going into the game, and I thought they were better at the line of scrimmage, but I didn't expect them to dominate the game at the line of scrimmage the way they did. You know, I know in the past when Oregon has had trouble against teams like this, it's been teams that have been able to really control the line on them, but I thought that they had kind of cleared that hurdle. I thought this was a more physical Oregon team, particularly their offensive line, than we've seen the last few years, but that's not what showed up last night. Ohio State, after that opening possession, really took control of the line of scrimmage and just flat out wore that team down.
You know, one of the criticisms of Oregon is they don't have a plan B. You know, this is their system, but if it doesn't work, they don't seem to make the adjustments. Why do you think that is, and is that a fair criticism of them?
Well, you know, they haven't really needed a plan B. You know, that's the thing. Their plan A has been really good, and in the league that they play and the competition that they play week in and week out, it's served them very well. You know, they are not a pass-only team. They're a run-first team. And when teams slow their run down, then they have a bit of a problem. You know, so, I mean, what would you say when that happens? Well, we can throw more. Well, you know, when you become one-dimensional, I don't care what style offense you are, when you're one-dimensional, the defense has the advantage. And Ohio State, for the most part, was able to make Oregon one-dimensional last night. And even as good as Marcus Mariota is, Ohio State's defense still had the upper hand in that matchup.
Well, we've had Todd McShay on, Todd, and he has said that he believes Winston is so much better and will be picked before Mariota. In your opinion, Todd, do you think Mariota hurt his draft standing with that game last night?
I don't necessarily think he hurt his draft standing. I mean, you know, will that mean that he'll get drafted ahead of or behind Jameis Winston? You know, I don't know. Winston's probably more NFL ready from a physical standpoint. I don't think there's any doubt about that. From a maturity standpoint, from a humility standpoint, from a guy that you know what you're going to get off the field standpoint, I'm not so sure Marcus Mariota still isn't the top pick in that group.
All right, how about the legacy of Urban Meyer? Where does he stand now among the great college football coaches of all time?
Well, I think he's right up there. You know, we've been quick to say that about Nick Saban and what he's done at Alabama, and now Urban Meyer has become only the second guy to win national championships at multiple schools, and you know, he did it probably quicker than even he thought he was going to do at Ohio State. So, you know, I think he's an outstanding coach. He and Nick are very similar in a lot of ways in terms of, you know, their hands-on approach to every aspect of the program, in recruiting, how relentless they are as recruiters. They are different in their motivational techniques and just the way they run their programs. Nick is more NFL-based. Urban is probably leans a little bit more almost to some high school type things, you know, and some of the things he does with his team from a team-building standpoint. But they are both outstanding coaches, and they have support staffs, which the resources that they have at Ohio State and Alabama to have the kind of support staffs they have, you know, Ohio State's not going anywhere in the near future. They're here to stay.
Telling the ESPN college football analyst Todd Blackledge here on the Michael Kay Show. People fall in love very easily in this day and age, Todd. So, you know, people talk about Cardell Jones. Should he go pro? I mean, he started 3 games this year. He's a third-string quarterback. I didn't see a pro-ready quarterback. How about you?
No, I don't think he's pro-ready. You know, he played well in 3 ball games. He shows flashes of being extremely talented, but 3 games is 3 games. And, you know, the thing that you'd have to try to project, which you didn't have to, and the good thing for Ohio State is you didn't have to, what would he look like if Oregon or Alabama or Wisconsin would have been able to neutralize the Ohio State run game and make the game one-dimensional and put the game squarely in the lap of Cardell Jones. And we never saw that. So we saw him being able to operate in the best way you want a quarterback to operate, with balance, with a great running game, being able to throw when you want to and not when the defense dictates that you have to throw.
So who starts for him next year?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think J.T. Barrett would have to get the nod. I think what he did, his body of work over the long haul of the season, I think gives him the the upper hand in that. But certainly you're going to make it as competitive and open it back up from a competition standpoint as much as anything, because JT is going to have to work to get himself back, and it'll be a very interesting spring. I don't know what Braxton Miller's going to do. I know that they think he's going to come back, and Urban has said he thinks he's going to come back. I guess I would be a little bit surprised if he does go back, even though I know he loves Ohio State, and that's his school, and those are his friends. I still might be a little bit surprised if he goes back.
All right, final thing, the ratings are in, Todd. They're incredible, highest-rated program ever on cable. Do you think they keep it at the 4 teams, or they just get greedy and go to 8 teams?
I think they'll keep it at 4 for a while. I think we need to just breathe, take it all in, and stick with what we have for a while. You go to more than 4, you open up a lot of other issues that you're going to have to deal with and questions you're going to have to answer about how that impacts other bowls, how that impacts the academic calendar. A lot of things that nobody was really ready to do beyond 4 for the time being. So I think it'll stay at 4 for a while. And then we'll see. Next year will be an interesting challenge as well, because the 2 semifinal games won't be on January 1st. They'll be on New Year's Eve. It'll be a little different, dynamic, trying to create that same kind of buzz and have that same kind of rating and audience to people watching games on New Year's Eve. So we'll have to see how that plays out next year.
Well, it gives you a reason not to have to go to amateur night, and now you just stay home, and you don't have to feel bad about it. Hard guilt.
Yeah, well, the semifinals this year were outstanding. I mean, I think it was, the marquee value of the 4 teams, the sights of the bowls, the outcome of the games. ESPN couldn't have asked for anything better in year 1, and the college football playoff was a huge success, and hopefully we'll learn from even this year and be able to do some things a little bit better in next year and the years to come.